I just want to see my balance, she said, her voice steady but quiet. The marble floor of the bank reflected the chandeliers above, light scattering in sharp angles that made everything feel colder than it was. People whispered, heels clicked, papers rustled. She stood at the counter wearing a faded gray coat that had seen too many winters. Her hands were pale from the cold outside, fingers wrapped tightly around a small slip of paper with her account number written on it. The man behind her laughed. It wasn't loud at first, just a short breath of amusement, the kind people don't mean to share, but do anyway. Then it grew. He didn't even try to hide it. You, he said, stepping closer, his cufflinks flashing gold. You're in the wrong line. This one's for account holders. She turned slowly. He was tall, immaculately dressed, confidence hanging off him like an expensive cologne. The kind of man who didn't wait. Things waited for him. His smile was sharp, practiced. I'm an account holder, she replied. That did it. His laughter rang out, drawing glances from nearby customers. A teller looked up, uncomfortable, then quickly looked away. Sure, he said, and I'm here to open a savings account with spare change. Her cheeks flushed, but she didn't step back. She'd learned long ago that shrinking only invited more cruelty. I don't need commentary, she said. I just want to see my balance. He raised an eyebrow, amused now, entertained. Go on then. Let's see it. I could use a laugh before my meeting. The teller hesitated, eyes flicking between them. Ma'am, sir, please. It's fine, the man said, waving a dismissive hand. I'll sponsor the entertainment. The woman slid the paper across the counter. Her hand shook slightly, though whether from cold or memory, no one could tell. The teller typed in the number, her fingers moving quickly, professionally. The man leaned casually against the counter. You know, he said, I've donated more money this morning than most people like you make in a lifetime. The woman didn't respond. I mean, no offense, he continued, enjoying himself. But this place attracts all kinds lately. You dress like that, people assume you're here to ask for directions, not balances. Still, she said nothing. The teller's face changed. It was subtle, but the man noticed. A pause, a blink. The teller leaned closer to the screen, then straightened, her posture suddenly rigid. Is something wrong? The man asked, irritation creeping into his tone. He didn't like delays. The teller swallowed. No, sir. Just one moment. She turned the screen slightly away, as if to protect it. The woman waited, eyes fixed on the counter, heart beating in her ears. She hadn't planned this moment to be public. She hadn't planned it at all, really. She'd just woken up that morning with the need to know, to see the number with her own eyes. The man chuckled again. Let me guess. Overdraft fees. The teller cleared her throat. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to step back. He laughed once more, louder this time. Why? Afraid I'll faint. Her voice hardened. Please step back. Something in her tone made him straighten. Annoyed, he took a step away, arms crossed now. The teller turned the screen toward the woman. Ma'am, she said quietly, respectfully, is this the account you were referring to? The woman nodded. The teller hesitated, then spoke in a low voice meant only for her. Your current balance is displayed here. Would you like a printed statement? The woman leaned forward. Her breath caught. For a brief second, her eyes closed, as if she needed to anchor herself before looking again. When she opened them, something shifted in her expression. Not joy, not shock. Relief, deep and trembling. The man noticed. That's it, he said. You're staring at numbers like they might change. She straightened and turned slightly, just enough that he could see the reflection of the screen in the polished metal of the counter. The laughter died in his throat. Rows of zeros stared back at him, neatly aligned. More than he'd seen in most accounts, even among his peers. His mind struggled to process the figure, instinctively assuming a mistake. That's not possible, he said. The teller stiffened. Sir, please refrain from. How much is that? He interrupted, stepping closer again, disbelief replacing arrogance. The woman finally looked at him. Her eyes were calm now. Clear. It's enough, she said. The man stared at the screen as if it had betrayed him personally. He'd spent years measuring himself by numbers, net worth, market share, influence. This number eclipsed his. Effortlessly. You expect me to believe someone like you has that kind of money? He said, his voice low, incredulous. She tilted her head slightly. Someone like me? He opened his mouth, then closed it. The teller spoke, her voice firm. Ma'am, if you'd like, we can arrange a private room. Yes, the woman said. Then she paused. But first, I did come here for one thing. She turned the screen fully outward. I wanted to see my balance, she repeated. And for the first time in a very long while, the man had nothing to say. The silence stretched, thick and uncomfortable. The man felt it first. The weight of eyes, the subtle shift in the room as whispers turned into glances. He'd been the center of attention countless times before, on magazine covers, at charity galas, in boardrooms where his word carried the finality of a gavel. But this was different. This attention stripped him bare. That has to be a trust, he said finally, grasping for reason. Or a corporate account. The teller shook her head once. It's a personal account, sir. The words landed heavier than the number itself. The woman gathered her coat closer around her shoulders. She hadn't come dressed to impress. She hadn't come to be seen. The coat was warm. That was enough. I'll be in the private room, she said softly. The teller nodded and gestured toward a door near the back. Right this way, ma'am. As she turned to follow, the man found his voice again, sharp with wounded pride. Wait. She stopped, but didn't turn around. I don't understand, he said. People with that kind of money don't look like you. There it was. The assumption laid bare, ugly and unfiltered. She turned slowly. People with that kind of money, she said, often look exactly like what you expect. That's why no one ever looks twice at the rest of us. Her words weren't angry. That made them worse. He scoffed weakly. So what? This is some sort of lesson. No, she replied. This is just my life. The teller opened the door. The woman stepped inside, the soft click of it closing, sounding final. The man stood frozen, his reflection warped in the glossy surfaces around him. For the first time, he felt small in a place designed to make him feel powerful. Minutes passed. He didn't notice the people leaving, the teller returning to her work. His mind replayed the scene again and again, searching for a version where he hadn't laughed. Inside the private room, the woman sat across from a senior advisor now, papers neatly arranged between them. She listened as he spoke, nodding occasionally, answering questions with quiet precision. This wasn't new territory. She knew numbers. She knew contracts. She knew exactly how she'd earned every cent. When the meeting ended, she signed nothing. She didn't need to. Everything was already in place. As she stood to leave, the advisor hesitated. May I ask, he said carefully, why you keep such a low profile? She smiled faintly. Because peace is expensive, she said, and anonymity is priceless. Back in the lobby, the man waited. He told himself he was just coincidentally still there, that he hadn't lingered deliberately, that his interest was purely intellectual. When she emerged, he straightened instinctively. I owe you an apology, he said, the words stiff on his tongue. She studied him for a moment, not unkindly. Do you? Yes, he said quickly. I made assumptions. I was rude. That's true, she agreed. He winced. I didn't mean. I know, she interrupted. You meant exactly what you said. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. She adjusted the strap of her worn bag on her shoulder. You laughed because you thought money looked a certain way, that it sounded like confidence and war-tailored suits. He glanced down at his suit. I've met many wealthy people, she continued. Most of them are very loud about it. And you? He asked quietly. I was busy surviving, she said. Then I was busy building. After that, I didn't see the point in changing costumes. The words stung more than an insult. May I ask how, he said. How you? She shook her head gently. No, fair enough. She started toward the exit, then paused. For what it's worth, she added, your money isn't what made you small today. He looked up. It was your certainty. Then she walked out, the door closing behind her with a soft chime. The man remained standing long after she'd gone, staring at nothing. He'd spent his life believing wealth was armor, that it insulated him from embarrassment, from being wrong. But all it had done was make him careless. Somewhere outside, the woman blended back into the city, just another figure in a gray coat. No one stopped her. No one stared. And that was exactly how she liked it.